Okay, so today we are going to be tackling some curb rash on a two-color rim. Most of your rims are just two colors. This one is in the chrome part. I'm going to show you how I do it. As you can see, I am here on the job site. I am doing this for a car dealership. I am going to be getting paid for this repair. So I'm going to show you how I do it as a rim professional here in my area. Like I say, I do this for a living, so I do have power tools. I have a Dremel with a 60 grit bit, and I have a piece of sandpaper that's 120 grit here on my rotary sander. If you don't have power tools, you'll have to do a lot of this by hand. And what I do is I really want to get those deep dug in gouges blended down really good. Now you do want to be careful when you're doing this not to get into the second color. You want to take your time. I know I do this every day. It probably looks like I'm doing it fast. Really, for a DIY project, just take your time, and you really want to make sure everything is good and smooth. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wipe off the silver. You can use a rag. These are real small places, so I'm just taking my finger and getting all the dust off of those areas. The reason I leave this dust behind, you'll see in just a second. So now I'm just going to take a Scotch-Brite pad and just scuff this in just a little bit, not the painted part, just the polished part. This will help the clear coat and the paint stick to it. Okay, just a little scuffing. You don't want to dig into it. You don't want to create more issues. I'm going to be painting this, so I want the paint to adhere to it really good. And once again, let's just wipe that little bit of silver off, because I don't want any dust. So I use playing cards, and as you can tell, these are well used. I use these every day. They're real thick, but I use them to put around the edge so that no paint and overspray gets on the tire. Sorry, I'm doing this one-handed too. As you can see, I'm just using those cards. Okay, so I have my cards on. I want to make sure I go past the corners so that I can spray all the way to there with my paint. And now you have one of two options. You can tape all of this off, or The reason I leave the dust is it'll take care of a lot of the overspray, and then I wipe it down. And let me show you how. I take the labels off of these so my competitors have no idea what I'm using. Stick around to the end. I will give you exactly what this is and how you can get it. But for now, let me show you how it works. Okay, so I have my can of paint, and I'm just gonna blend. Now, painting is an art, okay? I do this every day, so it looks like I'm doing this super fast, which I probably am to what you're watching, but for a DIY, take your time, do it right. Yes, I see all the overspray. We're gonna let that dry for 10 minutes and we'll come right back. Okay, so I've removed my cards just because it's easier for me to work that way and faster. I'm doing a lot of cars today, so speed is the way I do things, but I want you guys just to get to understand the process of how I do it. So I'm going to take this overspray off of the tires. I'm just using a yellow fiber towel, and then I'm wiping. Yes, there will be a little bit of overspray left behind. I understand that. But again, I do this for speed. Now, I'm not messing with the painted parts. I'm trying to just get the overspray off in the heavy spots as best I can without touching the paint, and get as much of this off as I can. The dust allows me to do this a lot faster and keep my overspray down. I know I didn't get it all, but I got about 75% of it. So now all we need is a blue lint-free paper towel. I fold it and fold it. A little bit of lacquer thinner. Now, yes, this will take your silver off, so you want to be very careful. Again, I'm probably going to look like I'm doing this really fast, but I've done this for a long time. I know how to feel. I know what I'm looking for. Take your time and just wipe all those areas out. Make your lines good and sharp. It should blend in really well. You can see the overspray is coming off. I want to check all my areas. I want to make sure everything's wiped down real good, because I will be blending this a little bit. This wasn't a super major repair, so I don't want to do a lot of blending. So all my overspray is gone. That took me 2 minutes and 0 tape. All right, I've put my cards back up. Got one falling here. Let's get him straightened out. Okay, I am just using Duplicolor gloss. I want the real high shine. Now, I'm not using real expensive paint or gloss on this rim. This is for a car dealership. It's not that it's cheaper done. I do it really good with these cheaper products, but this is a used vehicle, a lot of miles on it. They're just trying to turn it. So my job is to make it look good as new so they can get it sold. So what you don't want to do is gob this on there. So I'm just going to gently clear and wait about 5 minutes. Coat number 2. Get a little bit more heavy with it. I'm having a windy day today, so And I'm just trying to hit the silver. Yes, it's going to blend. Yes, it's going to bleed over. Again, you can tape all that off for your personal vehicle, but this is getting it done on my job. And my goal is speed. I need to do these as fast and as good as I can so that I can do a lot of them in a day's time. There you go. Good as new. These tips and tricks allow me to keep my prices down so that I'm not gouging the car dealerships, because they do give me a lot of work. All right, some tips and tricks to doing rims, to really doing any repair on a vehicle. Number one, please notice that the rim itself was in the sunshine. It's a little bit cooler today, it's a fall day. I'm using the sun to my advantage, and that allows things to dry properly. You want to make sure your paints are at room temperature. When I'm out on the job like this, a lot of times I'll leave the car running. I'll leave the paints inside the car, let them just get up to temperature. You don't want cold paint. It doesn't spray exactly the same. Now, again, I've been doing this for over 17 years. I've kind of learned how to paint over those years. For your first repair, take your time, do it right. If something goes wrong, a little lacquer thinner takes it right off. You can go right back. Okay, and last tip. Our last trick. I didn't forget. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I used for my silver when it comes to these polished rims. Some people call them diamond cut rims, whatever. And if you're a rim professional out there, you're welcome. But I go and get that right there. Inexpensive paint. But what's the beauty of this is, dries rather fast, does not have a lot of metallic in it. The metallic is what takes away that mirror shine and makes it look more like silver. Now, the camera doesn't do it justice. If you were sitting here looking at this, I do this every day of my life. I can barely see it. I can see it. I know how to make it disappear. For someone to walk on the lot, look at this car and want to buy this car, they are never, ever going to know what I did. The clear coat helps blend it right back in. Everything looks great, out of sight, out of mind. Good to go. So for your personal vehicle, take the time, spend the money. If you want higher grade stuff, if you want to do it a different way, it's your vehicle. You do it how you please. This is quick and easy. Gets rid of curb rash. It's pretty awesome. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.